What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing fantastic today. This is Raphael Garcia here for episode number 67. Damn it, I fucked it up. Of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. I hope you are doing fantastically well. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast about professional wrestling today. My name is Raphael Garcia, if I haven't already said that. And I have a couple of different topics to talk about. But before we do that, we're going to, as always, thank you for listening to the show, for taking the time to check out our content. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on our flagship at MMA Ratings Net. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter over at MMA Ratings Net on both platforms. And myself, you can catch me at rgarcia_sports. So again, thank you for taking the time to check us out. And I just want to go from there and jump right into this podcast today. And let's have a conversation about this. So, we have a couple of different topics. I'm going to be talking about Roman Reigns obviously coming back this Sunday. We're going to talk about SummerSlam a little bit. AEW, their show just went off the air, and they had an excellent show today. They had a very good show. They brought back their fans, so we're going to be talking about that in some spaces as well as we'll talk about the show. Next week, we're doing our Double or Nothing, all out, whatever show is on coming up, we're doing that preview then. But let's go ahead and kind of hit things off right now. So Roman Reigns came back on Sunday, and this was a huge moment in my opinion, and it was a moment that was met with mostly praise. I'm not going to say mostly praise. I didn't see anything negative about it. He's been gone since March, and rightfully so, because he is a cancer survivor, so he has to be extra careful with his health during times such as these. And now it is important for him to make sure that all the right safety precautions are in place before he came back, and that is what has happened. And now he's back, and he went right to the top of the ladder, taking out both Braun Strowman and who's the other guy, Bray Wyatt. So let's talk about this, because I think the right move is to put that title back on him this Sunday. They announced that there's going to be a triple threat for the WWE Championship at Payback this week, Universal Championship at Payback this week. There's no excuse not to put that belt right back on Roman. The fan response was immediately positive, as I said. He looked to be in great physical shape, and this was the type of return that WWE needed, because right now they don't have a lot of people that make you want to watch their content. Yes, I'm going to watch because I am a professional wrestling fan, which is understandable. But outside of Sasha and Bailey, to me right now, Drew, they don't have people that will draw in other viewers, maybe lapsed fans or people who watch other content and they see a picture of them and may want to be interested. They don't have a lot of those individuals. People who watch wrestling and people who are fans of wrestling and who may be interested in tuning in know who Roman Reigns is, so that should make them want to watch more. We're gonna see what Friday's rating number look like. I think that's something I'm really interested in seeing how that plays out, because that's going to be an important number for them. So that's something I'm really keeping a close eye on. But like I said, they've been working on getting him back into the fold for months. I think this is a major, major return. He's very important to that show. And I think it makes me want to watch SmackDown a little bit more. I've always been down on SmackDown since their move to Fox, and especially what they did with Kofi. So this looks like it's going to be a big moment, and I think it's going to have a bump in the ratings. The way he's carrying himself and talking on social media right now is perfect for his character, and I want to see more of this. And just the way he came back is making me very interested. We also got this week WWE content. We got Keith Lee's debut. Now, Keith Lee had a rough 3 days. First, he loses the NXT Championship to Karrion Kross in what is widely being considered a very subpar match. It's being considered not only a subpar match for Keith Lee, but just a subpar match for wrestling, period. And I think that sucks, because just from the commentary I've heard about it, it seems like more people are blaming it on two things, and I say blaming in air quotes. A, Karrion Kross separated his shoulder in the match, so we're gonna talk about that more later on. But the slow plodding style, I get that Keith Lee is a big athletic man, but he needs to work with people who can work at a faster rate. The slower stuff just doesn't work with him, and that's pretty interesting when you look at his size and you look at his stature. To think that he needs to work a faster pace doesn't necessarily correlate initially off first glance, but the work rate that they were putting on didn't work. It didn't click for me, and I think that they really messed up. I think they messed up with the way that match ended. Lee should not have lost the belt. Should not have lost it this early. He never had a real title defense. He had that match against Dijak, but that doesn't really count. He never had a full blown feud. But they couldn't do anything else because couldn't defeat Karrion Kross at the point in time. So they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. So they put the belt on Kross. A majority of people that I interact with on social media were pissed, and rightfully so. And that is what it is. People were really upset and really heartbroken by that. So that happens on Saturday. Monday he debuts on Raw, and yeah, that didn't help the situation any. First, they changed his music, and I know it's just the music. I actually didn't really like his NXT music myself, but they changed his theme music, which was one thing, but they completely changed up his look. He's wearing a shirt now, a cutoff shirt with sleeves, so clearly someone, Vince, thinks he looks fat, so they put him in a shirt. Then they took him out of his trunks and put him in shorts, but the shorts look like a tennis skirt, like they really do, because they're flowing. They look like something Maria Sharapova would wear when she's playing tennis, and it just doesn't deliver well at all. It doesn't look good at all when I say that. So mixing that in with the music, people were just like, what the fuck is this? So he is in a feud with Randy Orton because Randy Orton obviously attacked his friend Drew McIntyre. That's the storyline they're telling. And they had a match on Raw that ended in a non-finish because Drew came out and attacked Orton. Of course, we get a non-finish in his first match, so he's not even booked well in his first match. And they announced a payback match against Randy Orton. I'm concerned about that because Randy Orton wrestles at a pace that's a lot like Karrion Kross. Slow, methodical, and that's how he plays his heel character. I do not think this match is going to be good, and I think the blame for that is going to be placed on Lee, which is going to hurt his trajectory on the main roster. He's going to be, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but something about this just does not set right with me. Not saying it was done intentionally. I just don't think Orton is the guy to deliver. I just don't think so. If Raw had someone like a AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan or someone that can work at a better rate, I think it would deliver much better. But they don't. So this just isn't going to fly, and I don't think it's going to look good in any way, shape, or form. I'm hoping for the best, but I don't know, Jack. I don't know how this is going to come out at the end of the day. I wanted to talk about SummerSlam a little bit too as well because this pay-per-view was on Sunday and I watched it in bits and pieces. I was at a birthday function. We were masked and what's the word? Socially distant outside, so it was a good event. But I was watching bits and pieces of SmackDown not SmackDown, SummerSlam as I was at this event, and even before SummerSlam came around, I just wasn't enthralled. I wasn't excited about this. I wasn't at a point where I was really happy with with the content that WWE is putting out there. So I just wasn't hyped about seeing this match or this event. It delivered though. I've watched it since, and it was a very strong show. And it's again another example of how WWE can put out good wrestling content when they want to. When they don't want to, they clearly don't because you see the content that they put out there and that they deliver to us. But when it's good content, when it's content like SummerSlam, it's stuff worth watching. It was universally praised for that show from top to bottom. There was nothing really that was kind of taken away from it. Even the Sonya Deville Mandy Rose match, where Mandy and Sonya aren't the best workers per se, that delivered. And I am upset that that's probably the last time we're going to see Sonya Deville in a WWE ring for an extended period of time. And that's understandable because of what she's been going through the last few weeks with the individual that broke into the home and tried to kidnap her and tried to kill Mandy. To think that they still went out there and performed in front of everybody says a lot about them, says a lot about those ladies being able to do that. But I don't blame her for stepping away for an extended period of time if that's the steps that she's taken. So that is one thing that stood out to me. I expect Mandy Rose to be elevated to the title picture now that she picked up a win. But let's talk about how that's going to play out because the title picture right now involves Bayley, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion. As expected, Sasha dropped the title back to Asuka, and the way they're setting this up is Asuka helped Bayley in her match, and Bayley didn't reciprocate the situation in Sasha's match. And Sean Ross Sapp has been talking about this a lot, but he thinks the way to play up this angle is to have Bayley become overwhelmed with being the double champion and not being able to keep up her part of the deal like Sasha is. I think that's kind of the route that they're going and have Sasha basically get fed up with it and turn on Bayley. I'm okay with that. My question I've been asking everyone is who is the heel in this situation? Who is the heel? I think the heel should be Bayley because she's been playing that character so well. She plays the tough woman, the tough guy heel when she has Sasha in her corner, but she becomes the chicken shit heel when she doesn't. I think she takes that whole turn to becoming the chicken shit heel when Sasha is chasing after her. And I don't think Sasha has to be a cut and dry baby face. We don't need a smiling, crying, all shucks Sasha, but we need one that is trying to get that belt back because she wants it, kind of like Finn in NXT. That's where I think they should go. I don't know where they're going to head next, but if that was something that they do, I think Sasha's going to be the individual to take the belt off of Bayley, and Mandy Rose will be someone who could be a contender in that position maybe in the future. But Sasha, Asuka, and Bayley, they've been delivering nothing but nines and tens to me the last few months. We know that they can deliver. We know that they stand out as some of the best wrestlers in the world, even though they weren't featured in the PWI 500. We'll be talking about that later on too as well. Even though they weren't featured in the top 100 at all, or I don't think. Well, we're gonna go back. We'll get back to that in a second. But they've been delivering, and they deserve the recognition that comes with that. Let's see what else stood out. Drew McIntyre defeated Randy Orton. From what I remember, it was a good match, but I'm just not hyped over this feud. I'm not excited about this feud. It is what it is. It's just another placeholder for me. I feel like Drew McIntyre hasn't had that legit feud yet. I wish it would have been Bobby Lashley, but they decided to go in a different direction with him and the Hurt Business. That's really all I care about from SummerSlam on Sunday. I've gone back and watched it since. Eh. And what makes it so meh to me is that on Monday Night Raw, the very next day, we got a lot of the same matches right back again. We got a continuation of the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade. We got a rematch we got a rehash and a continuation of the Randy Orton Drew McIntyre storyline. We're getting a continuation of that. So it's just we're getting a continuation of the Hurt Business Apollo Crews storyline in a sense because now it's Apollo Crews against Bobby Lashley. I think he's going to drop that title to Bobby Lashley, but we'll be talking about that closer to that moment as well. That match is also on Sunday. So yeah, let's just kind of see how it plays out. But SummerSlam was good. Monday Night Raw sucked. I was reading a lot of reports about how Monday Night Raw, the script for that show wasn't finalized until 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. So that means that an hour into the show, They were still working through pieces of it. That is ridiculous if you think about that. A show that is being taped and they haven't even gotten the full script for it. So make of that what you will, but that is a serious issue with WWE nowadays, and it's just an issue that isn't going to be fixed anytime soon. NXT was Wednesday. Karrion Kross is out, shoulder surgery or shoulder injury, as I mentioned. And WWE went with the Fatal 4. So what they're doing on next Tuesday, because the show's been preempted because of the NHL playoffs, is they're doing a Fatal 4-way 60-minute Iron Man match between Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, and Tommaso Ciampa. It's funny because the Daily DDT chat that I'm a part of was widespread excited about this match. Me personally, I wasn't. And I wasn't because it felt like more of the same. Maybe it was because they had those three-way matches leading up to the ladder match. Maybe that was it. But this just it didn't excite me in any way, shape, or form. I believe they could have done something else to make this more enticing, but it wasn't exciting to me. It wasn't exciting to me in any way, shape, or form. And I think that it could be it, something could have been done to make it better. Something could have been not. I'm not saying better, but more creative. Because just this idea isn't creative to me. It involves the same four people that we've seen at the top the whole time. We're thankful it doesn't involve Velveteen Dream. But I don't know what the answer could have been. I think it would have been interesting if they did a tournament and brought people back, like brought back Kevin Owens, maybe brought back Sami Zayn, put Kushida in a tournament format. That's what I wanted to see. But I know people would have been upset with the tournament as well because they just did that G1 type of tournament for the the cruiserweight title. So they were in a very hard spot, which is understandable. Either way, I'm just not the biggest fan of this match. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. We know that. But I feel like something else could be done. What if they would have did a almost like a battle royal type of situation where they brought people back from every brand? Let's say 10 people back or 5 people back from every brand to compete in an overtop battle royal for a shot at the title. The last 2 people are the 2 that have the one-on-one match. That could have been something fun. But, I'm just spitballing ideas here. None of them are going to happen. We're going to get this Fatal 4-way match, and it's going to be great. That belt needs to go around Balor's waist because I think he's the type of guy that could carry it for long enough for Cross to take it from him when he gets it back. Let's see what that looks like. But that belt needs to go around Finn Balor's waist. I just wrote about him the other day, how he's elevating the roster while not being the champion. This character of Balor, I think this version of him should hold the belt for an extended period of time and just be like a Jon Moxley-esque, where you're not a heel per se. Jon Moxley is a face, but he is just legit like, yo, I'm fucking everybody shit up and there's nothing you can do about that. Balor could be that type of heel if they gave him, or that type of character if they gave him the opportunity to. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez is going to be a Hoss sirloin sons of bitches type of match that I'm stealing that line from Sean Ross Sapp again, but that's going to be a match that I cannot wait. I want to see the Mercedes Martinez match even more, but Raquel Gonzalez, even though she's a Trump supporter and I fucking hate it, she looks like the real deal Holyfield. She looks huge compared to everyone else. And I think that's what makes her so appealing to me. I expect big things out of her. I want to see this one-on-one match between Ripley and Gonzalez, see how that goes. I think Gonzalez should get the win, make her the number 1 contender for Io Shirai, have Martinez cost Ripley the match. Let's get that match going. Let's keep, like, these women mid-card feuds are rolling. Let that roll because I'm here for that. Breezango finally wins some titles. I think they've been the tag team together for 5 years now, and they finally won the tag team titles at NXT. Everyone's talking about them as if they're transitional champions. I hope that that's not the case. but I enjoyed everything I saw out of these guys. I asked someone that writes for Daily DDT to maybe do like a piece on them. No one really picked up on that. I may have to pick that up and do it myself, but still, it was exciting to me to see them finally win that tag team title. I didn't have it on my list here to talk about, but Legado del Fantasma, not they, but Santos Escobar had that great match against Isaiah Swerve Scott. They are so fucking good together. This was a fantastic match. I liked the ending. I see people are kind of like ho hum on the ending with Phantasma using the loaded um, luchador mask to knock Swerve out. I think that was original. I appreciated that. I enjoyed that. Let's see what the future has. I don't know if that feud is 100% over, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I liked what I saw there. I think it was enjoyable for both men, from both men. So let's see, is there anything else from a WWE standpoint I want to talk about? No, there is not. So let's move on. Talk about AEW. So they brought fans back into Daly's place tonight. Their show's been preempted because of the NBA playoffs, even though games aren't held today because of their continued strike, which they should be doing, but that's another podcast. But they brought fans back at 20% capacity. I liked what I saw from a capacity standpoint. It looked like they were closer together, but that was just camera angles. There was actually more distance between them than you would notice. They were reminded to wear their masks. They did temperature checks at the door, social distancing in the seating. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I think it was a good move on their part. I hope that nothing bad comes from that. But like I said, I'm okay with it. I think they took the right steps in that situation. I think they took the right steps. So oh man, Bullet Bob Armstrong died. That's unfortunate. I don't know him too much as a wrestler, but I know that name. So yeah. Dynamite ended on a strong point last week, and that continued through this show today because the Dark Order was there doing their thing, and I am kind of coming around to that group. They welcomed Tainara Kanti into the Dark Order. She's the first person of color, in a sense, to be welcomed into that group. So there's that, but she's there now with potentially with Anna Jay, where they may be a tag team. So let's see what that kind of looks like and how that plays out. But the storyline with Cody, I don't know how that's really going to work. I think Scorpio Sky, maybe the next contender for that belt. I don't see him winning it just because they've built Brody back up. Why would they take the belt off of him now? I wish he would be the one to take the title, but we know that that's not going to be the case. I think that's just not going to that's just not going to be how that is going to work out. But let's see how that kind of goes. Eddie Kingston rallying the Butcher, the Blade, and Lucha Brothers. He had on the great Black Lives Matter shirt as well too. I'm okay with this. I'm here for this. For now, I want to see Pac come back and be pissed off, bastard Pac as he is, and just want to fight everybody and get things back to where he wants them to be. I'm here for that all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. And like I said, anything Pac, sign me up. So the Adam Page angle with FTR and the Bucks. This is getting good. The Young Bucks were in a match at the start of the show with the opportunity to win a tag team title shot on the line against Page and Omega. Page cost them their match. They get into a shouting out argument there. Then later on in the show, they get into a segment backstage where they're arguing and Matt throws a drink in Page's face. The whole time they're yelling and berating at him, kicking him out of the elite. He doesn't get a word in at all. and he looks dejected that it's happening. So they slam the door. You see his face in the shattered mirror. You don't know who actually shattered the mirror. I think he did it, but that's the case. Now we don't know what's going on here. There's a lot of speculation that Omega is going to be the one to turn heel on the Bucks, and if we get the cleaner back, that's going to be huge, huge. Imagine the cleaner versus Moxley all over again. Like, think about that. If we get the cleaner back, that's going to be huge. But the thing is, nobody knows how this angle is going to go. Who's going to go with FTR, with Tully and Shawn Spears? Who's going to go in that direction? Is it going to be Cody? Is it going to be Omega? Is it going to be Shawn Spears? Is it going to be someone else? Like, there's so many different thoughts about that. And I'm here for it. I'm here to see how this plays out. That is what you should feel when you're watching pro wrestling. What is going to happen next? I want to tune in to see that. AEW is giving us that, and they're giving us that week after week, and I'm here for it. Next week, well, this week we got Jon Moxley and MJF doing the contract signing, which was a better contract signing segment than anything WWE would do because it didn't have the stupid fight breakout. Moxley snuck in a clause where he could have a match with MJF's lawyer next week. Okay, whatever. I expect MJF to get some type of heat back during that match, but this was a good segment. I mean, AEW, they deliver good content. There's no other way around that. There are some things I don't like about their show as well. Like for example, today, let's see, they had Big Swole. They had a couple of black people on their show because the guy that Lance Archer smashed, Lee Johnson, was in the backstage segment with Lee or MJF. Swole was on the card. Scorpio Sky was there in the segment as well too. So like they do, but I don't have faith that they're going to really build up any wrestlers of African American descent. People that look like me. They haven't yet, but let's see what happens. But there are things that they're doing great. Their storytelling has been fantastic. You can tell they have a plan. You can tell they have a plan that they're sticking to, or they're making adjustments as they need to make adjustments, and that's the right way to go about that. So I'm a fan of their content. I will definitely be buying their pay-per-views. I don't watch their show every Wednesday because of my obligations to cover WWE first, but I want to watch their content. I have the TNT app. I make sure I watch their content the next day. I watch Dart on YouTube, so I will be there to make sure I see what I need to see. So the PWI 500 came out today, I believe. It went out for order. And there's a couple of different things worth talking about. Let me see if I can. Here we go. I'm going to read you the top 25. Now, a couple of different things here. So the top 25 is Jon Moxley, Adam Cole, Chris Jericho, Drew McIntyre, Tetsuya Naito, Kazuchika Okada, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar, Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Nick Aldis, Bray Wyatt, Kota Ibushi, Rush, Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu, Will Ospreay, MJF, Aleister Black, Kenta Miyahara, and Walter. So here's the thing. Women have been included in this year's list. Kylie Rae landing in at number 78. Tessa Blanchard in at number 83. Let me see if I can find the whole list because let's see if I can find the whole list because I think that what I saw initially was that there's no WWE women in the top 100, which is amazing to me because you have Asuka, you have Bayley, you have Sasha Banks, you have everything with them in WWE tearing it up week in and week out. And if they did not get included, That would be egregious. Egregious. Let me look back at a thread that I was reading because I believe that we were talking about this in the Daily DDT chat today, and it seems like there were no women included. And if you give me 2 seconds, sorry about this dead air, I will be able to tell you that answer. Let me see. So I'm almost there. Pulling it up. Um, so here it is. Okay. So let me see. Sorry for the dead air, guys, but I'm trying to look at this and see. So, okay, so across the 500, there are 10 women listed. A few ROH ladies, but mostly indies. The only Impact women listed are Kylie Ray and Tessa Blanchard. Um, so let's see. There are no WWE women listed in this PWI rankings. Think about that. None. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Asuka, Io Shirai, none of them are listed. So I can't wait to see this full list and kind of pull that out. I think that's going to be a talking point within itself, but I don't want to dwell on that too much right now because, like I said, I accidentally put some dead air in there. But I'm looking forward to that list. That's usually only PWI I read, even though it's kayfabe, but it's still very interesting to look at. So that is the end of this week's show. Let you know what I'm working on. I am, as always, covering professional wrestling, Daily DDT. There, I'm covering professional wrestling there. I'm covering a lot of content, MMA wise. I actually got a piece to do tonight. Trying to do an interview, getting that stuff straightened out for this Sunday. So we do a lot of as much content as we possibly need. You can always find me over at rgarcia_sports. That's where I am doing my best work. There, just wrote about Kobe Covington today. Go check that piece out. And yeah, MMA ratings. You can catch MMAratings.net where my written work goes up. Adam Martin's work goes up. Schwan Hume, Michael Ford, we are managing that site there. MMAratings.net on Instagram and Twitter. You can catch all my content on those platforms. And myself, rgarcia_sports. Check us out on YouTube, MMA ratings as well there. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this show. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch up with this and our Spotify or Anchor, all that good stuff. We will be back next week. Until then, stay safe, wear your mask, and remember that Black Lives Matter. Have a great day, everyone.